Hello. Hey, Victoria. Someone is excited for a Jason and Britt reunion. I am too, honestly. But how's it going, everybody? Hope you are all doing well. Hope y'all are doing better than I am. I'm fine. I have a bit of allergies today, so apologies if I sound a little bit stuffed up. Tis the season. What can I say? But what's up, everybody? Welcome to the General Hospital After Show. I am your host, Dion Gabriel. It's been an interesting week, y'all. We've got so many returning characters, people exiting, storylines are moving. It's been good. Hey, Aaron. Hey, SLJ. But yeah, it's been a crazy week on the show, and there's so much to talk about. So we will get into all of it. We obviously in the thumbnail we got Britt and Obrecht returning. We've seen Robert Scorpio this week as well. Sasha, she's leaving. She's left. There's no more Sasha. But yeah, we got so much to talk about. I think the first thing I kind of want to talk about is the stuff with Sunny and Sidwell and Marco, just to get that out of the way, because that was kind of the beginning of the week and we didn't really hear much about it after that. And then we'll get into the meat and the potatoes, like the WSB stuff, and Sasha and Willow and Obrecht and Britt, and there's just so much, y'all. There's so much. But yeah, we'll get into the Sidwell stuff first. So this week, Sunny made a move against Sidwell by kidnapping his son Marco. But before he did, as Marco was getting ready for the funeral, Alexis showed up at his hotel suite to give her condolences, but also to reassure him that Sunny didn't kill Natalia after seeing the article that Aurora dropped about Sunny and Natalia, courtesy of Drew, by the way. And listen, I know Alexis is right, but she could have picked a better day to mention that return or that revelation other than his mother's funeral. You know what I mean? I'm just like, read the room, Alexis. But anyway, not long after that, Marco was MIA. And Lucas picked up on it right away because Marco was supposed to pick up Lucas at the hospital on his way to his mom's funeral so they can go together. But Lucas panics and he runs to Carly and asks her to let him into Marco's room. They go there and he's not there. Marco was locked up in a warehouse, courtesy of Sunny and Jason, with a guard at the front door. And Marco did make his best effort to try and escape. He claimed he was diabetic and needed some kind of snacks or else he'll die. The guard goes in with some snacks, and Marco tried to hit him with a chair, and we didn't see anything after that, so my assumption was like, okay, he's escaped. What's going to happen now? And it turns out he didn't. The guard got the better of Marco, and I like fake outs like that because it seemed like the predictable thing that Marco would escape and, Sunny would get in trouble. Sunny still could, but what was going on, really, was that Sunny went to the church to confront Sidwell, making him aware that he had Marco and that he knows that he's the one that set Charlie's on fire, nearly killing Christina in the process. So Marco was fair game to Sunny. So Sunny demands that Sidwell clean up this political mess and that Sidwell pulls funding from this Measure C, or Marco would pay the price. Hey, Sandy. Good to see you in the chat. But yeah, so Lucas showed up at the church, hoping that Marco would be there. Instead, he finds Jason at the doors and blocking the doors basically, and Sonny's inside with Sidwell. But yeah, so when Sonny comes out, Lucas threatens to tell the police everything he knew about the deal between Sonny and Natalia because Marco had told him, and that Sonny kidnapped Marco. And Sonny just told him to do what he needs to do because Sonny knows, like, the police already know that he likely made a deal with Natalia. So it's like, he doesn't care about that. The Marco thing, they can't really prove. But yeah, so Lucas then enters the church when Sonny and Jason leave, and Sidwell tells him that he has to do something. And Lucas said he already tried, and that it was clear that Sonny wanted something from Sidwell. So it's really his, it's his ball, or the ball's in his court rather. So it's crazy. Like, Lucas is sitting there like pleading, like, yo, like, this is your son, go and save him. And then, or like, give Sonny what he wants, because Lucas is like, well, you obviously have something Sonny wants, give that to him so that your son can go free. And Sidwell's like, but that'll make me look weak. And Lucas is like, hello? Like, it's your son. Are you kidding me? Like, imagine caring about looking weak more than you care about your own kid. It just kind of shows Sidwell's character. And, like, initially I thought that that Marco was, like, something that Sidwell truly cared about. But just his reaction to, like, oh, it'll make me look weak is a bit crazy to me. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think Sidwell will play ball, or do you think he'll find a way to track Marco down before that? Or do you think Marco will escape somehow? Because he tried once, he could try again. Yeah, let me know what y'all think. Alright though, let's get into the WSB shenanigans this week, because that shit was bananas. So, this week, Anna has been, like, kind of honing in on Vaughn, certain that he's in the WSB. And she does a background check on him, and when she gets it, it is too squeaky clean for her liking, and she tells Felicia this. And I mean, obviously Anna is right. Vaughn and Jocelyn's biggest mistake really was getting Emma involved in a way. It puts them as close to Anna as they possibly get, and Jack had told them endlessly, like, try to stay away from Anna, try to sway Anna away from Dalton, like, all these things did not work. But yeah, mind you, like, Emma's also trying to get into Dalton's good graces. So one way or the other, Anna would have been snooping when she noticed that. So anyway, Jack tells the two young recruits that Dalton has a secret messenger or a courier person delivering his mysterious, I don't even know what it's supposed to be, whatever it is, to another source elsewhere. It was their mission to figure it out. Jocelyn figures out pretty quickly at the Metrocourt pool with Dalton, who had set a backpack down by the pool away from himself, who the messenger was. So, basically, Jocelyn does her best. Hey, Angel. She does her best to have this lady distracted by telling Danny, who is the pool boy, in case you guys forgot, that she is a great tipper, so that she would always be distracted by Danny coming up to him, and she was going to use that to sneak a tracker into the bag that she was clearly trying to pick up. And so she tries, but I think is unsuccessful, because then they follow her. Jocelyn and Vaughn follow her to the airport, so they could slip a tracker into the backpack there, or her suitcase or whatever. Maybe her jacket. I'm not sure. Hey, come on. Oh, I'm glad you remembered, Angel. But yeah, meanwhile, Anna had recruited Dante to spy on Vaughn from inside the airport security room, watching the cams, and he sees Vaughn and he sees Jocelyn, and he sees that they are working together to slip something into her bag. And at the same time, Anna's having a conversation with Carly in her office at the PCPD just kind of telling her what went on with Jocelyn and Emma and Vaughn, and just trying to get some information to kind of put things together. And while chatting with her, she learned that Carly had no idea that months ago Jocelyn was relentlessly trying to figure out who killed Dex, her boyfriend, at the time, and trying to figure out if Cyrus did it before Cyrus vanished, and then learned that Jocelyn took a trip to Easter Island and was a changed woman when she got back. And obviously she switched her major. She got a job working at the lab with Dalton. And I think that's when Anna officially clued in that Jocelyn is in the WSB too. So anyway, after Carly leaves and Dante calls her, he's like, you'll never guess who Vaughn is working with to, I don't know, to spy on this lady. And Anna's just like, Jocelyn Jax. And Dante's like, huh? So that's how the week kind of ended with that bit. But yeah, there's no fooling Anna Devane. Like, she was suspecting Vaughn right away. I think she got suspicious when Jocelyn had showed up, kind of staking claim to her man. But there was no way to confirm it. But, you know, talking to Carly, it really helped her put two and two together to kind of come up with a conclusion. Come on, you said Joss and Vaughn don't have good stages at the airport. Yeah, like, it was a bit ridiculous. Yeah, they're not very subtle. You're right, Aaron. Sandy said, I can't take Joss seriously in this story. It seems even too fake for a soap. Yeah, I want to root for them turning Jocelyn into, like, an asset and a hero, but, like, it's just such a mess. They're so immature, and the fact that the WSB is counting on them to do certain things. I mean, we can't really speak for Vaughn, really. But for Jocelyn, who's new at the game and, like, kind of taking the reins and coming up with her own plans, and Jack just being like, okay, better work. I don't know. It's a bit nuts. Brooklyn, you said, hi, Dion. All I can say is that when Carly finds out about Jack, their relationship is doomed. Yeah, I've been saying that for a while. I think we all have. Like, they are doomed because the second she finds out what Jack has really been up to, getting close to Carly and, you know, kind of manipulating Jocelyn into becoming the WSB, or a part of the WSB, is going to screw their relationship. And I'm like, I don't know. I've just not warmed up to Jack and Carly as much as I was when another actor was playing him. I think that the actor is doing a good job regardless. And they do have good chemistry. It's just, it's not the same. So I'm not enjoying it as much as I did the OG. You said Jocelyn's too small, too puny. Yeah. Yeah, true. Like, yeah, she could have rocked a wig or something. Like, she didn't even try to disguise herself. She had, like, this trench coat. And I'm like, okay. It was nuts. But anyway, let's move on and talk about Sasha. Alright? She is, in fact, leaving Port Charles for good. Sophia Matson confirmed it herself that she was out. So let's talk about the character's exit. Michael and Sasha, they had taken Daisy for one last checkup at GH to make sure she's cleared for international travel. Willow saw him freaked out, thinking that Michael would be taking all of the kids out of the country. And Michael just said, I won't be. But he puts Willow on notice and lets her know that he's pushed back the court hearing for the visitations. And she flips out and freaks out and calls Drew. And he says that he has a plan to make sure she'd get the kids back much sooner than that. More on that later. We're going to go back to Michael and Sasha. So Michael is obviously struggling with coming to terms that Daisy won't be in his life anymore. And Sasha obviously knows it, and her heart's broken for him, but she feels that she's doing what's best for the baby. She runs into Nina, who was at the Q's getting blackmailed by Tracy into defaming Sunny's name in whatever way she can. Otherwise, Tracy would tell Willow about Drew and Nina's affair that was going on while Willow and Drew were supposedly falling in love. More on that later too, though. Needless to say, Sasha told Nina, Sasha told Nina what had been going on with Daisy at the house and how they think it could be one of Sunny's enemies, messing with them. So leaving the country is her only option that she feels is good enough. And they say their goodbyes. Their goodbyes were really sweet. It's so interesting, Nina and Sasha's relationship to me, just because, you know, it really started as a lie from Valentine, and the fact that they ended up building somewhat of a daughter-mother relationship out of it, despite the lie, it's nice in its own way. It's a bit weird, but you know, Nina still does see her as a daughter. But yeah, so also Danny says goodbye to Daisy and Sasha too. Apparently, Danny and Daisy they share a special connection, one that clearly happened off screen because we've not seen them even share scenes, I don't think, yet until the goodbye scenes. Just another situation where things happen on off screen. GH. I do wish it happened on screen so that it didn't feel like just sort of I don't know, just fluff, giving Danny something to do on screen. But I don't know. That's what it felt like anyway. But I digress. Once they said their goodbyes, Jason and Sasha boarded a private jet. Jason went with her to make sure she'd arrive at her destination safely. And they have a pretty nice conversation about Jason putting everyone else in front of his own needs and happiness. And she suggests that he get himself back in the dating game. Side note, they spent a little bit of bank on these airplane scenes because the clouds and the windows were actually moving. Like, it was clearly green screen, but we never see that effort on the plane scenes, I don't think. It's usually just like a blue backdrop. It's probably just like a, you know, like a, I don't even know, a canvas. But yeah, I was like, oh, cool, moving clouds. Very nice touch. Anyway, sorry, I'm a nerd. I look at these things and I notice these things. Yeah, so it turns out that Sasha's safe destination was Robert and Holly's house. And while we didn't see Emma Samms, we did see Tristan Rogers. We did get to see Robert. I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't know he was coming back. And even more surprised because I learned the same day that Tristan Rogers is actually battling cancer right now, unfortunately. I mean, I think we all noticed his health was definitely deteriorating rapidly in his last stint on GH. And the only thing that we really heard since then, until like Thursday or Friday, was that we'd likely never see him again because of his health. But he actually seemed much better in these scenes, I found, all things considered. His voice didn't seem as hoarse as it had been back a few months ago when we last seen him. So yeah, it was nice to see it. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just glad that we got to see Tristan Rogers. If this is the last time we've seen him, it's on a good note. Yeah, I'm sad Emma Samms wasn't there, but I don't think she's going to travel all the way to the States to do one episode. You know what I mean? So it's fine. We know that she was supposedly there. I think they said that she was running an errand or something. So, yeah. Who knows? But yeah, also another thing that I noticed, and please tell me you guys noticed this too, but did Robert and Holly's house not look like Sunny's house? Sorry, Carly's house before Sunny moved out, before things were renovated. This looks like the old set of Sunny's old house, which is Carly's current house, but with the old wooden platforms, the old classic stairs that went up. Like, it's the old house, no? And then, like, the backyard of, like, Sunny's current house being the front entrance. I swear, I was just like, I couldn't really concentrate on the scenes because I was like, how are we back in Sunny's old house? Like, they just kept all the stuff there and just made it Robert's house. Oh, man. But yeah, I mean, as for the scenes, Robert and Jason, they had a good talk where he simply thanks him for looking after Sasha and the baby when he couldn't. Jason and Sasha, then they say their goodbyes. She kisses both his cheeks and wishes him well, and thanks him, and she's emotional about it. And oh man, to think that they almost started something between these two. Like, I guess in hindsight, wouldn't have likely worked out anyway, because now we got Kelly Tebow back. Brooklyn, you said Sophia should have been nominated for a Daytime Emmy, but my part was having Robert in her scenes. Yeah, I mean, she still could get nominated for scenes from this year. I mean, look how long ago Esme's scenes took place, and she got nominated for this year. So, anything's possible. Angel, you said people said on Reddit that it's Sunny's old set. That's what I figured. It looks like they didn't change anything about it. Oh, it threw me off. But yeah, so I guess I don't know what it. Let's talk about the Brit stuff, okay? So when Jason heads to the airport and he's waiting for his plane, he notices Britt getting on board another plane. He like sees her clear as day. So yeah, it's very much, if it's not Britt, I will be surprised. He clearly recognizes her as Britt. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to pull it off. But there's about 50% chance that Liesl Obrecht had something to do with it. It's a 50-50 shot at this point. Liesl is back in Port Charles, visiting Rocco in person, because as you guys know, the previous week, he had reached out to Dr. Obrecht by email, and Obrecht, being the extra lady that she is, decided to fly into Port Charles to have a conversation with him in person. And she was actually pretty fair in how she talked about Britt, I feel. Not admitting the bad things, calling her very flawed, but with a very good side as well. She even shared some of her own memories of Rocco as a baby. Apparently he liked avocados as a baby, and still does too. Meanwhile, the rest of Liesl's family is a mess. So, Erin, you said she came back as Britt. I mean, Jason recognizes her. He recognizes her. He sees her in the lineup. He is shocked. And in the preview, he's like, I need to speak to someone that just boarded on that plane. So, if it's not Britt, it's someone that's a dead ringer for her. But I'm thinking it's Britt. Like, we got Obrecht back in town. So, on the same day. So, I don't know. To me, it feels like it has to be. But yeah. So, we don't know who she is yet. We may not, but I'm like, come on, guys. If she's not Britt, I think we'll all be a little bit mad about it. But we'll see. We'll see. Unless Britt had like a twin sister, and I don't know. I guess anything's possible. But I don't know. My clue is that she, like when Kelly confirmed that she's back on GH, she was like, I get to do it all over again, but better. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, anyway, going back to Liesl's family, we'll talk about Nina for a little bit, just because, like I mentioned before, oh yeah, Britt is heading to Croatia. She might be the messenger that is working with Dalton. But anyway, Sunny went to confront Nina at her office. After seeing an interview that she did with the press that throws Sunny under the bus. She did that because Tracy blackmailed her, as I mentioned earlier. And Nina fully admits to Sunny that Tracy blackmailed her into doing this interview, and apologizes and gives him the heads up that there will also be a part 2 that pertains to his mental health state. I gotta admit, I'm pretty impressed that she actually just told him the truth without hesitation. But Sunny obviously knew something was up, because they've had a pretty amicable relationship despite how their romantic relationship ended. So yeah. And after Sunny leaves, after they had a good talk, Liesl checks in on Nina and said that she's heard Willow's life was falling apart, which of course Willow walked in on. Angel says, wow, Willow. Yeah, exactly. So So I lived. I lived for everything that transpired in these scenes with Britt, or sorry, not with Britt, with Obrecht and Nina and Willow. Dr. Obrecht is, asking Willow all the right questions and pointing out things like, maybe you shouldn't have moved in with your lover before the divorce was finalized due to Michael being in a burn unit at the time. Like, pretty common sense stuff. Like, you probably wouldn't have lost them if it wasn't for this. And Willow, like, she just refused to take accountability for it, whining, saying, Michael has 3 kids under his roof while I have none. How is that fair? Which is when Nina brings up the fact that Sasha left town with Daisy for good due to someone threatening their baby, and how they think it's Sunny's enemies. Willow, this girl, y'all, she couldn't even, like, contain her delight over that news. Like, she had this devilish grin on her face that both Nina and Liesl clocked. They both saw it and were, like, disturbed by it. And as soon as Willow left the office, Liesl just looked at Nina like, what in the ever-loving fuck was that? Like, she was like, Nina, there is something very wrong with your daughter. Like, like, what is going on? And yeah, Liesl, that's an understatement. Nina says, this is Drew's influence on her, and Liesl proposes that they need to break his hold on her by digging up Drew's skeletons in his closet and using it to blackmail him into breaking his hold on her. To be honest, I think if anyone at all has a chance at splitting Drew and Willow apart, it's probably Liesl. So, and if I were to guess what they'll eventually dig up, it might be what Drew has planned for Michael. So that is if this plan comes into fruition, because it involves Portia, and Portia has definitely reached her limit. So Sandy says she is a snake. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about Portia. So basically, Drew demanded that she makes Michael look like a drug addict, since he is taking painkillers probably normally to deal with some of the leftover residual effects of his burns, his injuries. And that was Portia's last straw. We seen her have like a full-on meltdown in her office, screaming, blood-curdling scream. It impressed me. But yeah, so, she makes it clear the next day that she's just done being controlled by Drew, and she is just determined to break his hold on her. So she was willing to turn herself into the board, admitting to switching Heather's test results, risking her career, jail time, and disappointing Trina, which honestly is exactly what I would do at this point. Like, if I was being blackmailed to that extent, I'd be like, this isn't even worth it. This is not worth it. Especially if I had to sort of compromise my ethics and hurt someone, like, physically. You know what I mean? But yeah, so, she's telling Curtis all of this. And Curtis, on the other hand, isn't so sure that she should just throw her life away so easily. Which, like, Curtis, please stop. Just let the girl do this. like, seriously. So he says that they just need to rule out every option first and put their heads together to think of something. And Portia's like, Curtis, we're pretty intelligent people, and we haven't found a way yet. Now, how two supposedly smart people can't seem to put their heads together to just record whenever Drew tries to blackmail her, because he's obviously showing up at her office, but, like, planning ahead, like saying, meet me here, or I'll be there. Like, have a phone recording him. Like, it just seems so stupid. Like, but here we are, like, I don't know. It's nuts to me. It's nuts to me that she's not recording any of this just have something recording in her office at all times. So if Drew does come on a whim, at least there's evidence that he's blackmailing her. But yeah, honestly, if Portia does confess, considering Lisa Obrecht and Britt Westbourne managed to be chiefs of staff at the very same hospital with the amount of crimes that they had committed in the past, even while working at GH, by the way, I'm sure she'd get her job back in no time anyway. You know, she might have to do a bit of jail time first, but still. But yeah. Angel, you said Willow was worse than Nell. Nell was up front in her crazy. Willow tries to hide it. Well, let's think back to Nell originally, though. Nell was doing exactly what Willow is doing now at first. She was pretending to be normal and nice and sweet. You know, she was manipulating Carly like that the whole time. And then, eventually, she was no holds barred crazy. But yeah, I'm glad that she said she won't sabotage Michael either. As well, I mean, sorry. But yeah. So, I don't know. I just think it's so dumb that they haven't recorded Drew blackmailing her yet. It's insane. I don't know. Maybe Alexis and Lulu can help bring Drew down too. Really, everyone should at this point. Everyone should be gunning for him and doing what they need to do to get rid of this dummy. Like, it's nuts. It's nuts. Oh, and the reason why I bring up Alexis and Lulu is because Alexis already realized that the article that came from Aurora that was put out against Sunny and Natalia didn't make any sense. Like, Curtis owns that magazine. He's not one to make these sensational headlines without any evidence to back it up. So it seemed off. So since Lulu is a reporter, Alexis is like, can you like maybe try to get a job there and see what the hell's going on so we can figure out who's trying to gun for Sunny from within that newspaper media company. But yeah, and Lulu agreed to do it because she also cares about Sunny and she wants some answers too. Yeah, and I'm sure they'll realize it's true in no time. Taiwan, you're not stupid. You know that he's not a good guy. You're not stupid. You're mostly doing that to try to get a reaction out of me, like Albert does. But you don't want people to think you're mentally ill. You know that he's not a good man. Drew knows that he's not a good man. Cameron Matheson knows that Drew is not a good man. The entire, the entire Port Charles knows he's not a good man. So, unless you truly want people to think you're mentally ill, maybe like simmer it down a little bit. But anyway, Sandy, you said Drew was going door to door to threaten Carly and Michael. Yeah. Then bullying Curtis and blackmailing Portia. Yeah, he's a great guy, Kaiwan, with all that list, right? Great guy. But yeah, anyway, I can't wait for the whodunit story when he gets killed. Busy Beaver. Indeed. Yeah, the fact that Drew went to Carly and was like, you need to talk Michael into compromising. And she's like, no. No. He's a good man, Savannah. Well, but yeah, Kaiwan, like, he's not a good man because the writers did make it so that he's not one. So that's the story now. We just have to accept that. Do I hate what the writers have done? Yeah, I liked Drew. I didn't like him as much with Cameron Matheson, but I liked him enough, you know? Like before whatever went down now. Yeah, I think I heard about that, Aaron. That he had like apples thrown at him. I mean, and see, this is why, like, I don't know, soaps can be a scary thing because there are people out there that, for whatever reason, they can't separate the actor from the character, And God forbid they meet that actor in public. You know what I mean? Thinking that they are the character. And we've talked about it before. There are absolute horror stories from GH cast members, but also just probably soap cast members in general, I'm sure, that play villains, that deal with awful fans, that truly are convinced that they are the characters that they play on TV. And it's like, maybe we should just take away people's TV privileges if they can't separate, you know, fiction from reality. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if there was anything else to really discuss. I feel like I'm missing something. And I didn't put anything else in my notes, but I know that there's something else that went on the show that I kind of was thinking about. I mean, kind of more stuff with Dante and Lulu and how to handle Brooklyn. They had a disagreement about Brooklyn. Dante believes that she's sincerely sorry and didn't actually intend on Rocco finding out the truth. Lulu disagrees. So, yeah. I think we're going to be stuck in that for a little while. Maxie has been written as being out of town right now. So maybe we have seen the last of her until the temporary actress settles in to play her. I don't know. Who's she? What? Come on. Do you think he's gonna... What? I don't know. I mean, oh yeah, but that reminds me. Willow, after finding out the news about Sasha and Daisy, like, she calls Michael and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. But maybe now you'll see that my kids should see their mother. Maybe you'll understand now." Like, I'm just like, good God, lady. That girl needs a straitjacket. SLJ says, how does one get a crown and a number after their name? I have no idea. No idea. Brooklyn has to go to sleep with Dante. I hope not. I really hope not. You know, Chase doesn't deserve that. Chase deserves some happiness after dealing with the women that he's had to deal with. Is it looking to make sleep with Gio? No. No, she's not. I honestly, in terms of Gio and his story, I just really want to see him sort of get close to the Quartermains. I feel like Brooklyn's going to take the longest, obviously. But we saw that he's tempted to talk to Dante and Michael about Sunny. He's probably feeling a little bit isolated. And yeah, I don't know. I don't mind just it being a story of like growing and trying to find a way to sort of embrace each other in the end. I don't need it to be crazy spicy anymore with Brooklyn and Lulu. I'm over that rivalry to begin with. They need to just stay out of each other's way. Just like go into their own separate corners. And I think I mentioned this last week, just like put them in a situation where they are required to work together to reach a common goal and make them bond as friends. Because we've seen it with Lulu and Maxie, and I said it before, their relationship was far more vile than Brooklyn and Lulu's. So, I don't know, anything can happen. Anything can happen. But yeah, Aaron, you said you're over Brooklyn versus Lulu too. Yeah, me too. I don't need more of it. We don't need Brooklyn and Dante sleeping together for it to be more messy. I would rather Dante either slowly make his way back to Lulu or find someone else away from all of them. You know? Maybe he can date Britt next. Or whoever she ends up being. But yeah. That's kind of GH in a nutshell, y'all. I don't have much more to say on the matter. I found it was a great week on GH. The highlights for me truly was Obrecht returning and having that conversation with Nina after Willow left and they seen just how crazy she was. Sandy, you said what was the purpose of breaking up Jordan and Isaiah? I don't even know. Only for Jordan to be single again or pine after Curtis and then nothing really coming to fruition with that. It's like they just don't want her to be with anyone, and I don't understand. I feel like Jordan and Isaiah had good chemistry, and now they've resorted him to being like Willow's cheerleader in the office. That's something that happened. So Lucas and Willow were so cold towards each other, and Isaiah was like, nah, we're not doing this at work. Y'all need to figure out a way to be professional. And I'm like, whatever. Silly stuff. But yeah, my thing is, when it comes to Maxie, I wonder how long it's going to be till we see her, because, I mean, Maxie dropped off supposedly like all of the wedding plans to Nina to work on with Willow, and I think their wedding's not till... Actually, I don't know. Was it the end of July or the end of August? So I don't know. It seems like Maxie might be gone for a minute. But, you know, Kirsten Storms did say that there's a great story happening for Maxie, and they're gonna gag. So that presumably means that there will be someone stepping in to the role, and my guess is it's the girl that we've seen play her for a few episodes here and there. Gannon is going to be the reason why he figures out that she gaslights Sasha. Oh, that would be good. If Isaiah's the one that finds it out, that'd be good. This week is going to be what? I mean, hopefully it's a good week on GH this week. But yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I enjoyed this week, and I'm more excited to see where we're gonna go with this. I'm gonna say Britt. I think it's Britt. This Britt storyline. I want to know what cockamamie story they're gonna come up with to justify her still being alive. Yeah, we'll have to see. We will have to see. Angel said Isaiah has a point about remaining professional at work. Personally can't affect work. Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. But, like, Lucas didn't really do anything to it, like, really, I don't know, justify Isaiah's reaction. He just told her, yeah, like, he was, like, kind of wall-faced, but he just was like, here, you need to go look into this patient. And I guess because it was so, you know, that caused a problem. And I'm like, I don't know. We've seen Patrick act like that, like, for every nurse that was in the hospital. Sandy said, why would they have a big wedding when everybody hates them? Nobody would come. Well, the people that Drew would pay to be there would come. So... He didn't shout at her like a madman. He's like, hey, doctor, what did he say? Nurse Tate, can you please deliver this to the patient? That's all he did. He didn't yell at her like a madman until Isaiah made it a problem. They literally, he just handed her a thing, and they went their separate ways, and Isaiah's like, wait. No. What show are you watching, Kaiwan? He did not yell at her even remotely at the hospital. He literally was just like, here, do this. And like walked away. And I will gladly put on that scene if you need to rewatch it. Because that is not what happened. He did not yell at her. He didn't even raise his voice. He was like just looking away and like, hey, can you just deliver this? Like, what show are you watching, dude? Here, let's find the scene. Let's find it. If my stream ends, it's fine. Because it's the end anyway. Let's see. Let's see the yelling, Kaiwan. You didn't say that, Kaiwan. You said that he yelled at her like a freak, like a madman. So let's go with what you actually said, just a few words up. He shouted at her like he shouted at her, at Willow like a madman over some effing tools. That's what you said. So let's... Didn't want you to get in trouble for showing that scene. Well, it might end the stream early. But I won't. We're not gonna play the whole scene. We're gonna play the scene where Lucas walks up to her for like 10 seconds. That's what we're gonna do. And if that, cuts it out, then that's gonna suck. But like, let me just... How do I do this? How do I do this? Because usually I have 2 screens going. Can I? Hold on. How do I do this? How do I do this? Okay. Y'all can see your chat. Let me mute this. Let's see the yelling that Kaiwan is talking about, yeah?
Nurse Tate, I need these tests ordered for the patient in Trauma 3 ASAP.
Of course.
Yep. So much yelling. Okay, Kaiwan. Yep, so much yelling. Case in point. But yeah. See, I didn't think... See, that was like not the whole scene. That was just the scene that Kaiwan went up to her. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's awkward, but he still just got what he needed to get done. He's just staying out of the way. Like, hey, you can deliver this. Nobody really gets that as rude or disrespectful. I mean, Willow gets what she gives. I mean, it is what it is. Willow's not very professional herself either, but what can you do? What can you do? But yeah, Aaron, had I shown like that whole scene, then it would be like a, then it would be flagged and probably end the stream. But because it was like such a minuscule, I think there's like a certain amount of seconds that you can do that before it like actually would cut off, I think. Pretty sure. When people just don't like a woman because she had an affair. That's not why people don't like Willow, though. They don't like her because she's not putting her kids first. Like, that's not what's going on. Like, maybe for Michael a little bit, but like overall, it's like, no, like you literally, actually not even really for Michael. Like, yeah, he was hurt, but he's more so like, this woman is incapable of putting our children first, and she's putting him in proximity, or my kids in proximity with a man who was willing to go to Wiley and say that Michael does not want him, to traumatize the kid. He's just trying to get his son away from that monster. So it has nothing to do with an affair. It has to do with Willow not being in the right state of mind to actually put her kids first, because she's so enthralled with this guy. And I think if it was a decent guy who wasn't manipulating Willow and wasn't manipulating kids, then it wouldn't be an issue. Angel says people are going to pass judgment if you cheat on your partner. Well, yeah, like to an extent, but like realistically in Port Charles, everyone has. So at this point, it's more than that for Willow, you know? And Angel, you said it's not exclusive to women. Yeah, that Jumbotron thing was crazy. Like everyone, everywhere, is is doing that meme. Even at baseball games in my city, they're having Coldplay cams, and like everyone that's in the camera is doing exactly what a couple in the Coldplay cam did, like pretending to hide that they're having an affair. And I've seen other clips too of like, what do you call it? Like, people holding up signs that says, "This is actually my wife," just so that they can be on the camera. They're having mascots recreate it too. It's funny. Kaiwan says, "Don't you feel the show is a bit sexist because women that are fighting in custody battles, when it comes to Carly or the Quartermains, it seems like they have no money or power to fight Carly?" Well, no, not in this case. Not in this case. None of it's Yeah, I'm with Angel. None of it's sexist. Like, I would say, I don't know, when the writers always have like a character, like female characters be like the damsel in distress that everyone had to rescue, kind of like the Guza era, that's being a little bit sexist to me. But what happened with this trial with Willow is that she is not a good mom. And literally everyone can see it but her. So it's like, that's not sexist. She's literally batshit crazy and is making her kids move around and around and around and around just so that she can be with this guy. She didn't move the kids out of the queues because she thought that they'd be better off somewhere else, away from the queues. She thought, I just want to be in a place where I can be with Drew. Like, she wasn't thinking about her kids. So, like, I don't know. Well, Nell Benson, she was batshit crazy too. She was an unfit mother as well. You know that, Kaiwan. You know that. Ava, I will say in Ava's case, like, it is definitely like a clear thing of like Sonny is using or at least at the time of the original custody fight, like Sonny was using it as a way of revenge against Ava for being Ava. But they share custody currently. So I don't know. She moved the kids out of the queues because she wanted to get better custody. No, she didn't. She straight up said that she wanted to move to a place where she could be with Drew. It had nothing to do with to get better custody. Because she wanted shared custody with Michael. She wanted that. And the best way to share custody is if they were living in proximity together. So even if she lost it, like, she'd still be in the house. Had she not left the house, there wouldn't be a custody battle because they'd still be on the same grounds. But instead, she was like, oh, I can't be with Drew. I had to sneak around. I had to be with him elsewhere. I just want to move so I can be with him. That's why. That is why. Yeah, the kids have seen Willow get out of Michael's bed and straight into Drew's bed. Yeah. And they're like, you know, they were making out like little schoolgirls, so much so around the Q mansion that like James spotted it once. Yeah, Willow is an unfit mother. Yeah. Yeah, she's thinking about how she can be with Drew, and she's thinking like, what about me? What about me in my life? What about my relationships? Don't I deserve to be happy? Yes. Find you a man that'll make you happy that isn't a monster to your kids. Like, Michael's even saying, like, you can be with literally anybody else. Literally anybody else. But you are being with a man who made Wiley think that I didn't want him. Michael has every right to just go after Willow's kids because she's not in the right state of mind to make good decisions for him. Why would you stay in your husband's family's house? Well, she had good reasons to stay in there, right? She had good reasons. She didn't want to take the kids away from Monica. She didn't want, them to be upheaved and in an unstable situation. And then she just stopped caring because she wanted to be with Drew so badly. No, Willow is an unfit mother. She is. It has nothing to do with an affair, Kaiwan. She is too blind to see what Drew is doing to her. She's not making good decisions. She took their kids to like 3 different houses back and forth over and over just to be with Drew. That is not a good mother. It has nothing to do with an affair. She was putting them in an unstable environment the entire time. The entire time. It has nothing to do with the affair. Like, yeah, she wants to be with him, but it's not about that. It's about moving her kids and not having them in a stable environment. It has nothing to do with the affair. Exactly, Angel. Willow is choosing to be with a man who is emotionally abusive to her and her kids. That's why she doesn't have her kids. Plain and simple. I mean, Obrecht kind of said it herself. She was like, you were literally a person who had pregnancy while you were battling cancer, all this stuff. How did you flub it up so bad that you lost custody of your kids? And it's because you were listening to whatever Drew wanted you to do. Drew said, let's take your kid out of the state and have him be in DC without running it by Michael first. Let me have emergency custody without running it by Michael first. Let's have them kids move from place to place to place so we can be together. That is literally what we've seen her do. Well, that somebody can rewrite her as an uncaring person. Well, but that's the reality. That they've written it that way. It's not like, oh well, this can't be true. The writers have now changed the story. Willow is now an unfit mother. We've seen her do terrible things that prove that she's an unfit mother. Therefore, she is one. I hate that Willow is who she is now. They really threw her under the bus. And maybe it's because Caitlin wanted to be a bit more spicy of a character. Seems to be part of the reason. But regardless of the reason, this is canon on the show. Willow is now an unfit mother. We've seen it on screen why she's an unfit mother. We've seen why she lost her kids. We've seen the reasons laid out as to why she lost the kids. So it's like, it sucks, but it's true. She is now an unfit mother because the story is showing that. she, for whatever reason, has become incapable of making her own decisions. It's all about what Drew wants, and Drew kind of tricks her into thinking this is what she wants. Willow, she's told to think for herself, and then she'll have these little thoughts here and there, and then Drew will be like, well, no, let me do this, let me handle this. And it's crazy because, like, Drew knows that he's the reason why she lost custody of the kids, right? And he's trying to get the kids back because he feels guilty about it. But despite that, and even, like, Willow refuses to even acknowledge that. Like, Drew is the one that convinced her to take the kid over to a different state. Drew's also the one that convinced her to make him the emergency guardian. He convinced her to do all these things, and every single one of these things the judge listed as the reasons why she lost custody. Yes, the judge was paid, courtesy of Sidwell, but I honestly think that she would have got there on her own. And there's no, like, I think anybody who might have been in that courtroom would be like, yeah, well, that's true. She did a bunch of illegal shit behind a parent's back. And she's done all these reckless things that have put them in unsafe environments. And even when you mix in like other things, like, Drew had all these reporters at his house when the whole drugging thing went down. It's an unstable situation for the kids to be in. And yes, we know that Drew was drugged and that he wasn't doing that on purpose and whatnot, but, like, he's still essentially a danger to the kids, because if someone did, in fact drug him, which they did, like, that means he's got enemies that are going after him, and it puts the kids in potential danger. So I don't know. Mind you, Michael can also be in danger from Sonny's line of work, but it's like an indirect thing. Anything that's taken place with Michael has happened outside of their house. But Drew's house, Alexis had to take Scout out of there for a while when that went down. Yeah, Drew operates on hate and revenge against the Qs. Michael's operating on, I need to get my kids out of that dangerous environment. I wouldn't say that they're equal footing. Kaiwan. I think it's there's danger because of Michael's father, potentially. But at the end of the day, like, Michael's still keeping them in one home. It's a home with like 29 other people in it that are all there to take care of the kids. And Willow is trying to take her kids to a house. She's a full-time nurse. And Drew's a politician, very busy man. Like, and and she doesn't seem to listen to her kids, because she's admitted that they've said that they're constantly wondering when we're going to go back home. So it means that she didn't even actually acknowledge that they don't live at the Qs anymore. Preach, Angel. Drew is abusive. We saw the abuse right on screen. Michael is not abusive. I would say that, okay, so, like, Michael's angry at Willow, rightfully so. But why is Michael, in your opinion, abusive? Is it because he's trying to get her away from Drew? Because the reason why he's trying to do that is because Drew literally went to Wiley and told him that Michael was unwanted. So, yeah, and Willow is proving time and time again that she won't listen to reason. And unfortunately, Drew also manipulated Michael into being angrier at Willow, right? Because he's seen them in the hospital getting along well and being tight-knit and seeing Sasha's baby and all being happy, and he decided to take it upon himself to ruin that. So, like, the only reason Michael is mad is because Drew manipulated Michael. So, like, Michael was ready to share custody with Willow until Michael ruined it. Until Drew ruined it. Hey, Nathan. So Michael is manipulative because he doesn't want Willow to be with Drew. To me, it sounds like he's just trying to get Willow away from a bad person. That's not manipulative. Like, he genuinely cares about Willow, and he sees the kind of man Drew is. The entire town sees who he is. And unfortunately for Willow, the kind of man that Drew is putting their kids in a bad environment. The only thing that I will say that Michael really went wrong with Willow is him keeping her in the dark about certain things about his own business within ELQ and Aurora, and with Sunny's stuff too. They both hid secrets from each other, and I think that's the worst that Michael did to her while in their relationship. They lacked communication skills, for sure. So I will say the only thing that I can agree with on Willow's front is that they were not good at communicating with each other. And that sort of made it easier for Drew to kind of get in there the way that he did. And to make himself look like a shiny hero by comparison. But realistically, it's Drew's kind of pulling all the strings here. He's the one manipulating Willow. He manipulated Michael into being far more angrier at Willow than he needs to be. And it's like, and Willow's not helping her situation because it's like she can't see that she's being manipulated when everyone else in her life can. Yeah, come on. I don't know why you're kind of trying to convince us that something that's not happening on the show is happening. Like, everyone in the chat is telling you, like, what are you saying, dude? Like, it's like Michael, like, yeah, Michael literally said Drew was abusive to Wiley. And Willow won't hear that. She's like, no, that can't be true. And all she would have had to do was quickly pull Wiley aside before the court hearing to ask him his side of the story. That is all she had to do, and she refused to do it, probably because she's too afraid to admit that everyone else was right. Because she really blew her life apart for this man. She has isolated herself from all of her friends and family that existed before she was in a relationship with Drew. Every single one of them. The only one that's standing now is Nina, and that's on thin ice because she's just having to lie or like just avoid her letting her disdain for Drew come to fruition because she's so scared to lose Willow. But man, and that makes me mad too because it's like Nina, like, if she were truly a good mom herself, she would sacrifice their relationship to get Drew away from her by any means necessary. She would admit the affair. She would admit that Drew wanted a favor from Nina, and in return, Nina wanted Drew to kind of have Willow soften up to her. So Willow's been manipulated by Drew from the start, also that he could become a politician. That's what the reality is. Like, he has been manipulating her since the beginning of their friendship and relationship, as it sort of shaped into that. You gotta be trolling Kai wondering who just as manipulated as Willow. I mean, Kaiwan, like, I don't disagree with Angel. Either you're being duped by the show or you're just like, I don't even know what they're saying about women. They're not saying anything about women in general. They're just saying, like, Willow is being manipulated by a man. And it's not even something that we haven't seen with Willow before. That was her whole last storyline when she got to town. That she was in a cult and she was easily manipulated by someone to convince, and to be convinced that that was their savior. And she does kind of have this pattern of being with guys who save her, like Chase and like Michael and with Drew. It is a pattern with her. And I think she even admitted, well, I think Michael said it to her first, but at one point Willow was like, maybe he's right. And like, she is. He is right. It's her pattern. And unfortunately with Drew, she's just been like the biggest sucker because he literally only really utilized his friendship with Willow to move further in his political career courtesy of her mom. Well, just because you never got that from her story, like, doesn't mean the rest of the audience didn't get it, because the rest of us did. I'm sorry to say, man, you're the only one. Like, I mean, granted, most of the Dawn of Day stuff on Willow's end happened before she got to town. She grew up in that environment, and when she got pregnant, she ran away. And I don't know kind of the origins of, like, how she realized that she was in a bad place, but like she somehow figured it out and went into hiding from him. So, and then she ended up with Chase, and then she ended up with Michael. Good night, SLJ. But yeah, I'm gonna end this live stream too. I don't think I'm gonna be live streaming Wednesday. Things are getting a little bit crazy in my life right now, so I'm gonna have to kind of keep up with just the one live stream a week situation. Just to give you guys some sort of like life update stuff, just so you guys know what's kind of gonna go on in the future. Obviously, I have a show in September that I'm trying to practice for. I'm also going to be in Montreal for a week next month, in like 2.5-ish weeks. So there will be one Sunday where I'm not live streaming because I won't be in town and I won't have my computer and I won't be watching the show. So I'll have to catch up. But yeah, that is all. And again, Taiwan, I'll just say that I think the judge would have gotten to that same conclusion had she not been paid off by Sidwell. I think she just got a good payoff for doing what she was probably going to do in the first place. But yeah, at most, like, maybe they would have granted her like 80-20 custody. Oh, that's also true, Angel. Yeah, she's not poor. Drew's got money. He could have manipulated the judge too. He's manipulating everyone else. So he got Aurora money and Q money. Alright. But anyway, there's no way in hell it would happen. Well, I disagree with your grandma. Anyway, I'm going to end the stream here. So I will see you guys next Sunday. Yeah. If you like this live stream, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. And I'll catch you guys next weekend. Enjoy the week. If anything exciting happens on the week, I'll be in the community tab on my channel and just give my brief thoughts. All right. Good night, y'all.